Welcome back, everyone. We're going straight into Game 3 here. Rob, let me make sure the players are ready, but we're headed to Daybreak. What are your thoughts on this map?
I'm hoping that we see it up to 3 base. I want to see the 3 base because when
see
you
the
expand
epic
on this
fight?
map, yes, I'd love to see an epic fight. But because of the way that Daybreak works, this is the map that we can see some crazy macro play. That also means that this is the map that we can see somebody crush them because they think they can macro.
That's true. That's true. All right, guys, the countdown is finished. We are waiting for the map to load here. Game 3, Oz versus Parting. This is just a huge, huge match for both these players as they are 1-0 in their group. And really, I mean, winning at this stage at the end of Friday night, probably their last match of the night. It's just so important, both for their tournament hopes and just kind of for their mental state.
Oh yeah, wrapping up the group phase with a the phase 1 of the group stage is important.
Indeed.
Oh man, okay, so let's talk about these players playing as the Red Protoss, representing Team FX Open. Let's hear it for Oz. Oh yeah.
One diehard fan out there for sure.
And now over here in the blue trunks, playing as the Blue Protoss representing Team Startail. Give a cheer for Parting.
I keep thinking back to that last fight at the ramp, and those Zealots, there was probably, I don't know, 20 of them. They died so fast to those Colossus, man. I mean, Oz's heart probably
five
sank.
Colossus versus 20 Zealots. I'll take that battle. As long as I get the Colossus.
He was probably so upset when that happened, and I mean, if I was there and I was raging on the ladder, I probably would have just GG'd right afterwards, because that's just such a huge army to lose in almost a split second.
Well, taking 2 Colossus to go in there and crush the force fields, I thought was a peculiar decision, although maybe he already thought that he was just so far behind. When you lose 40 supply and Zealots instantly, and effectively lose your lead in that split second. Although he did still have a bit of a worker advantage there. I think that if he pulled back, he may have had a better chance.
Maybe so.
Who knows?
Regardless,
Can't cry over spilt milk.
Yeah, I mean, it basically was just kind of a dumb mistake. So we'll see here as we go into this Game 3. Daybreak, of course, a very big map. Might not seem all that big, but because the center area is closed off with the destructible debris, you have to just walk so far to your opponent's base.
Yeah, man, there's just a ton of room. This is one of those really big maps, and now we can see Parting is just a little bit further ahead on getting his cybernetics core out there. Of course, Oz, we've seen him just opt for building the probes first. He does that consistently, time and time again, where he likes to keep his probe production consistent.
You know, thinking back to the past 2 games, it feels like Oz has really just kind of led these 2 games in the sense that Parting was always playing catch-up in a sense, or not really. He was always the one reacting. He wasn't making the first move. And it really just shows kind of like what Day9 and we were saying, that Oz just feels very confident in this matchup, and it ultimately cost him the game last match.
Well, and you can just see it in how he's playing, right? The little things that he's doing to get ahead. He is consistently delaying building his structures and tech buildings, and even getting his second assimilator just so that he can get a little bit further ahead in economy. And now we saw him trying to hide his tech up at the top of the base to possibly trick Parting into thinking there was a proxy, but of course, Parting discovers by scouting right away. And now Oz actually hasn't worried about scouting over to Parting quite yet.
Yeah, we saw this, I believe, was it Game 1 where Oz didn't scout till very late? Yeah, so you actually see a Twilight Council coming out of Parting here very early, and Oz still hasn't thrown down any tech, probably waiting to clear out that probe before doing so, and it's actually being quite sneaky here as the Stalker is still giving it chase, but probe a little bit faster, obviously, and will be able to get away, and we'll see. Is he going to go for something like DTs? I mean, it's being pretty sneaky here.
I mean, if he goes for DTs and Oz doesn't get a robo fast enough, that's going to be the end of the game.
Oh, he's immediately actually going to be getting Blink here on that Twilight Council. And what is Oz up to? Well, is he actually... I thought he was going to be expanding because I thought that was a pro, but right now just no tech just yet.
Yeah, Oz just continuing his pro production. I mean, that's pretty much what he's doing. That's why he's so far ahead on supply. He actually has now eked out 4-5 extra probes.
Yeah, and Oz will be dropping his Nexus over here at his natural. Parting actually being very active with his Stalkers, just scouting out everywhere for any forward pylons, and Here we see the forward pylon. A hit that actually has been spotted by Oz, but the probe still remains up on the high ground.
And as long as it stays hidden, there's a chance that Parting will maintain that. Oh man, yes, he's actually just placing another down, and it's not looking like Oz is going to be heading up that ramp to get that oh so crucial information. And Oz over here, this is another situation where Oz has actually just placed down his Nexus. Can he hold it?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of sentries here. He's going to be playing very defensive from this point on, and the Stalkers of Parting are kind of split on the north and south of this Xel'Naga tower. Blink is about to finish.
Ooh.
Catching one of the probes off. Rob, this is not looking good right now for Oz.
Oh man, with this Blink timing, it could be so massive. Oz's robotics facility has still not wrapped up. You see the force fields placed down. They can't see far enough up the ramp to blink. Oh man, but the probe gets in for the vision, and he gets in onto Oz's units, and he is slamming them one by one.
Yeah, Oz actually was caught off guard there by that probe, but Parting's going to have to retreat for just a little while. There's that forward pylon over here just now finishing. The Nexus is actually done as well. That Immortal does only have halfway complete, though.
And now Oz just needs to buy enough time. He has the sentries. He can block the ramp if he needs to. This is the same exact situation that Oz was in previously. He's now waiting for Parting to just commit a little bit too much to try and take down his Nexus. Then he's going to be able to move out there. Now, what's different this time is that Parting actually has Blink. Oh, man, and he could be focus firing down the Immortal, but no, he chooses to pull back and still has not lost the Stalker.
Did so much damage to the Immortal, and now he just snipes it, and that is not good for Oz, as we see actually 2 more gates being finished here, only on 2 at the moment. He's still just pressing this attack here. He's dropping a lot of force, so this is a very tough situation for Oz. He's a very seasoned PvP player. We'll see if he can hold this. Another Mortal is out.
Oh.
Here we go, Rob.
Now, if he doesn't get into a fortunate situation once again where he can pick off that Immortal, oh man, and this means that he could possibly, I'm actually surprised that he didn't go for the offensive Blink there to finish off that Immortal. The unit count is not that bad for him. He's also going to be able to warp in more units. The 2 other gates finish and the aggression continues, but it's looking like those force fields may be the money that Oz needs to cash in.
That was so smart from Oz, as he basically knew that that Immortal was going to die. He baited the Blink, and as soon as he blinked, we saw the force fields go down, and the Zealots were able to connect with the rest of the sentries and Stalkers, and now this attack has basically been stopped. And look at the supply, 54 to 38. Parting is going to be playing catch-up from this point on.
I mean, this is the same thing that's happened in all of the other games. Oz gets a lead. Will he be able to hold it this time, or will we see another engagement that he throws away, 40 supply and Zealots, albeit he didn't know that all of those Colossi were there. But now this time, we see that Parting is in a much worse situation. He doesn't have a second base up, so this is much more akin to Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, he just has to go for an attack here, and actually Oz is moving out, and he's going to take that Xel'Naga tower. Will he see that army? Yes, he does see the army falling back, so he's immediately going to fall back to his own base. He has so many of these sentries. We see a handful of sentries warped in for Parting as well. A probe actually sneaking up here on the right-hand side. He's going to try his best to drop in another forward pylon, but looks like Oz is seeing what's going on.
Right, because Oz has actually just opted for getting out of Observer, so he's, even though that this aggression has stopped, even though his force fields were there, and pretty much halted Parting from pushing up that ramp, now Oz is going to be able to keep tabs on Parting for the whole game. Oh man, he's actually just keeping the Observer with himself in case anything sneaky happens, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's got to think, well, my opponent is on that Blink tech. He might have a Dark Shrine. He's really, really far behind right now, so he's got to make something happen. But here's Oz actually scouting out a probe over at the natural of Parting, and does not see the Nexus. Now he's just walking straight into the main.
Oz was doing something really smart. We saw him place a forward pylon so that while he holds that off, he'll be good to go. Now, he has so many units back here. Because he has that higher economy, he's going to be able to warp in units over and hopefully move them into Parting's base while he still maintains his hold.
Yeah, the supply once again getting even more and more one-sided for Oz, 85 to 53. Parting is actually going to try and play this out as the expansion goes down, and the probe from Oz seeing it. And what will he do? He has such a huge force here with those 3 Immortals.
Wow, and Parting is now switching into a pretty much full defensive maneuver, right? He's bringing his entire army back because he knows that he needs to defend his Nexus or else he loses the game. Now Oz has placed down a forward pylon, and now Parting is going to be faked into a false sense of security. He thinks that he finished off the only forward pylon that Oz has. Is he going to be able to see this other one? No, Parting moves right by it. That was so close.
Yeah, and actually, if you look right now at the army of Oz, he's very undecided on if he wants to move out. He's going to leave 2 Stalkers here at the Zone Naga Tower. Now finally moving out. Doesn't want to get caught off guard with the Stalkers behind his army. And once again, he's just kind of running up and down. We see the Zealot now going out. Got to be careful not to overcommit there with those Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, and Parting just doesn't really have enough units out here. We see 3 Immortals in play from Oz, and now he's actually forced to use his Blink to retreat.
And he's kind of just, he's trying to keep map control, making sure that his opponent doesn't go too far out on the map. And Oz actually splitting up his forces here. 2 Immortals back at the Zone Naga Tower, but he's trying to cut his opponent off guard. And he will not be able to engage that army, taking out the other forward pylon here. Meanwhile, Parting's expansion is now up and running.
Now, as long as Oz is able to kill those 2 pylons, it could completely push Parting back into his base. And now, because Oz maintained control of that Zone Naga Watchtower, he knows exactly where the army is. And man, leaving those 2 Immortals at the Watchtower was so smart. He was able to snipe a Stalker before it could even get through the clouds.
See over here that the robotics facility is down. I think he also got charged. Yes, he did indeed on his Zealot, so that's going to be great. Oh, and he's very, very close. He does scout that pylon. Doesn't, oh, there he goes, actually going back, blinking immediately. Does not want that pylon to stay up at all. And, you know, this is kind of funny because last game Oz was kind of in a similar situation, and he was the one to make the big mistake. So we'll see here. I wonder if Parting is just going to wait for his opponent to come and attack.
I mean, he has to. He needs to defend that Nexus. His forward pylons have been taken down. Also, Oz was waiting for the prime opportunity to finish this push. His own Blink has finished. He's also made 3 additional Warp Gates, and in comes the push.
Getting kind of scared right now for Parting. His army is basically completely out of position.
Oh, man.
And here comes the main army of Oz waltzing right into the natural. Meanwhile, we got some Stalkers over at the natural of Oz doing a huge blink forward. And he's actually pulled some probes up here at the 3rd base. There's an observer scouting it. We're going to see an interesting kind of base trade here.
Yeah, and now Parting has actually gone for a complete base race, even though that he just doesn't have as many things. As long as Oz just warps in more units while he still has his production structures, Parting is going to have, I mean, a hellish time coming out of this.
The big thing, though, is right now, if you look at the mineral count, Parting's been saving. He's up to 625 minerals. That means he can rebuild his Nexus. And if you look at Oz, he only has 225, so he will not be able to whatsoever. And there is the Nexus actually up in the top left-hand corner. This is a very, very interesting final game here in this match.
Now, even though he's got the Nexus up there, I mean, his army is just so small in comparison. Just even taking a look at the army available on the army tab, he's got about 50% more stuff on the field anyway.
At the same time, I mean, we have that Observer Elf for Parting, or for Oz. We also have Blink Stalkers all the way across the map, and his army is nowhere to be found. So let's see it here. We see an assimilator being built in the main base of Parting. We also got another forward pylon here. Parting really needs to get his army together, because if he finds that Nexus, it is not going to be good. He still has 345 minerals. Where are the probes at the moment?
They're spread out slightly, and Oz is getting very close to finding the Nexus. In he moves to the last remaining structure for Parting. Now, Parting can actually throw down a couple more pylons around the map, but this means that he's going to be revealed. He also now has enough minerals to make another Nexus.
We see over here at the Naturals where that pylon went down. Meanwhile, the army, actually, Stalkers are going to be caught in a terrible position from Parting. One Stalker is going to do the complete bait and switch. Those Stalkers will get out. Only 4 remain of the first 6, but this is just, I don't know if Parting has enough stuff, man.
Oh, wow. We can see Oz has enough of a force to split up his army. We see over on the left-hand side of the map, a small kill squad is getting out to that natural to finish off that pylon. And meanwhile, we've got Parting getting into
this is game. I mean, those are the only 3 remaining probes for Parting, and that's the last pylon.
That's also his only building.
Good game. So he was going to leave one Zealot on it and go back to the entire army. But regardless, congratulations to Oz there, taking out Parting. In Game 3.
Man, Oz, the wizard of PvP. Let's hear it for that winner, Oz.
Wow, he is tall. Phew. I didn't know he was that tall.
So Wheaton Day 9, I mean, what happened there? What'd you think of that 3rd and final game?
God, Oz knows his PvP builds in and out. I mean, he's just never that scared at all. And of course, hello crowd. I hope you're enjoying the show thus far.
Oh, and extra,
oh my. extra special shout out to the man holding up that photo of me in 2005. Ladies and gentlemen, I looked pretty once.
So young.
God, look at
What
that
happened,
gold
Sean?
hair.
The look of intent.
He got
that
old and
dark
stuff.
shrouded face, that floppy sphere-shaped head. Ah, wonderful.
That pensive look as you. What are you watching there?
What am I watching? I don't know. Perhaps it was a Twinkie.
That game went about 5 minutes longer than I feel like it probably should have.
I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly think Parting got himself into a rut so fast. He first did the very fast 2-gate Blink Stalker play, saw the expansion, and it looked very much so like he could kill it off. But Oz is using an unusual timing. What older Protosses used to do was build that Nexus and cancel if they succumb to pressure. Oz just lets it get to 25% health, and that's a key timing that he's working with. It allows him to get the Immortal out, and he placed those force fields perfectly. It wasn't just the Immortals that he got out, or the units. He uses the Immortal as bait to force a blink, and then he force fields. So suddenly Zealots become a key part of the equation, which meant that Oz suddenly is getting a relatively easily secured second base. What do you do as Parting? You say, oh, well, I started to go all in, and I guess I'm not winning. I expand.
I expand, right.
Just was too far behind from there.
Way too late.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, guys, that is actually it for me and Rob here. Coming up next might be a casting duo that you guys know. Any fans of Tastosis out there? Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. And they are going to be casting a huge match. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back from this break, we are going to have MKP versus Sase with Tastosis. I'm Rob Simpson.
I'm JP McDaniel. We will see you guys right after this match for an incredible match in just a couple minutes.